Hello, I'm here during the lunch rush with Janice, who owns her own food truck.
Best cheesesteaks in town.
Janice traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for her food truck business. We're here where she needs us most.
They sure are.
We make it so easy for her to save, with customised coverage that grows with her business. Sorry, I just get so emotional talking about saving folks money.
Not this onion I'm chopping?
It's just so beautiful. Oh yeah, no, it's the onion.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. Get more with Geico.
Hey there, fictional friends, and welcome to another episode of Fully Booked. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shireen.
And we're the second week of December. We pre-record, and then I'm like, when is this coming out? Second week of December. Sorry.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh. Anyway, yes, because last week we did already talk about some like new discoveries and things for us this year, and some like kind of shifting of genres that we did to a degree. Mm-hmm. So that was our first week. Like I had mentioned, we're doing kind of like a wrap-up-y month, whatever we want to call it for the year.
We're revisiting how our year went.
It's like my Spotify wrapped up, but the whole month is that.
Hey, we put a lot of effort into our podcast.
We do.
We can do a whole wrap-up.
Yeah, we do. People know what it's like. People who have podcasts and like also still work full-time and stuff. People are aware what this is like. So what we're doing today is we're actually just going to take a look back at the past year, essentially, other than this month, in what we've covered this year, what we've liked, kind of maybe what we've liked, what we haven't liked, what some of our favorites were, and maybe per like just a little bit of data, kind of, I guess, what people liked.
Yeah, what's been the most popular.
Yeah. And like how things have gone. Because it's not really something that we've never done like a look back before.
No.
In the few years that we've been doing this. So this is kind of an interesting this was a funny little thought experiment to go back and be like, what did I really enjoy that we did or covered or talked about this year?
And it was also, actually, we found a useful exercise because it allowed us to have a bit of an open discussion with each other about, you know, the state of the podcast and the way that we currently do things, which if you've been listening and you're continuing to listen, which thank you very much.
Thank you. We love you.
We love you.
Yeah.
Sending lots of love.
Yeah.
We've always had a theme where we've done, you know, 2 discussions on movie adaptations in the theme, and then we've had 2 discussions on
a topic
related to the theme.
Yeah, exactly.
What we've realized is that sometimes, because especially now with there being so many book adaptations coming out frequently, and so many new big releases book-wise, it doesn't give us the freedom to actually leave the space in the month, or we don't give ourselves that freedom.
No. No, it's true. It's been wholly our decision, obviously.
I mean, we stay very rigid within the theme, and so what tends to happen is that we will say, like, I use Regretting You as an example of, you know, I think it was Regretting You.
That came out?
Yeah, that already came out.
This past, like, summer, fall, whatever.
Fall.
Yeah.
Where we basically just didn't include it as an episode because it didn't fit with any of our themes of the month. Instead of stopping the theme and saying, hey, let's just shoehorn this one in, we stuck to the theme.
Even including it as a bonus episode, as an extra that we were doing, even if we did kind of like take it, if we'd already recorded a bunch, but we said, hey, we're just going to shoehorn in another episode here as an addition to the month for fun, whatever.
Right. And so what we've decided is for 2026, we are going to be a bit looser on the themes.
Agreed.
There will be months that have themes.
Yeah.
But we're going to focus a lot on new releases or things that make us very excited to talk about in a timely manner.
Agreed. Yeah, timely topics, I think, is going to be maybe more at the forefront of what we're looking at for the future. And I think it'll allow us to feel a little bit more, I guess, like creatively free to a degree, and like we're actually part of the conversation.
Yes.
You know, we're painting ourselves into our own corner to an extent. And while we've had like a ton of really interesting conversations, like very pertinent conversations about different topics, it maybe hasn't allowed us certain freedoms of movement that would have allowed us to also touch on things that, I'm seeing discourse about online as things are coming out, as there are film adaptations being released or new like very, big, like really, really big books and series being published and new entries into series being published. We chose to kind of paint ourselves into a corner. It's been really fun a lot of the time, but I think the lows have been really low for us and really difficult to navigate that way.
Yes, and we will talk about that, I think, once we go into our dissection of our episodes.
Yeah, and some of our less preferred stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm just looking at things from, I guess, a data perspective, I took down briefly, not numbers, nobody cares about that, but I took down briefly just the top, I guess, 5 ranking episodes that we've had. So, a lot of this was surprising in my opinion. I guess I don't know what I expected. I'm not an analytics person. I don't pay attention to this stuff most of the time. We're kind of doing this because we love to do it. Yeah. But not really like paying attention to it in any kind of broad way. So this was an interesting thing to take a look at. But anyway, so turns out our kind of highest ranking episode, these are all in terms of listens basically that we were looking at, was our review of Water for Elephants.
Isn't that funny?
I wonder if it had something to do with the banned books aspect of things, because that was within our banned books month, right? Because it had been, I think in the last year or so, Water for Elephants was banned in some states, and we were so confused by it that we watched the movie and then stayed confused forever. And I really like to think that that's the broad public or bookish public agreeing with us and being like, I also don't know why.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that surprised me when we were doing that episode was how I believe it had quite a low score, that movie. Like,
I think it did. I don't think
and that really surprised me too. And I was like, okay, that's not fair.
It's
like
not terrible.
It had like quite a big cast.
It did. Yeah.
And it was decent. Like it was not a bad movie.
It wasn't a poorly made film in any way.
Sit there raging at it.
No, like there were a lot of aspects that we weren't big fans of particularly. Like, that's it. Like, not all the writing was great, not all the plot points were great, the chemistry was non-existent, but like, but individually, like, the characters were pretty good and stuff, and it seems like the book that it's based on is pretty solid that way too, which probably lends itself well to, the story.
An adaptation.
Well, to the story not being total garbage, right? So,
agree.
Our second one on the list was actually, there are a few of these, and for people who maybe came into the, like, later in the year, who came into things and didn't, like, listen back, Shireen took like a mat leave break
for the first like 3-4 months of the year.
That's it, as like a little like break, because obviously with baby and everything, there's a big old adjustment period with that.
Still adjusting
a year in, so there was like a lot going on. So Arthur, our now sometimes co-host, occasional guest star and co-host, and always editor / runner of every aspect of back end and the website at fullybooked.ca that we have. The website, I've said this like multiple times, it would be a dot on a page if he weren't doing
non-existent.
No, I know it wouldn't exist. We wouldn't even have one if it weren't for him doing everything that he does. So he stepped in, and that's it, spent the first few months of the year basically working on our own episodes, and that also kind of, I guess, forced us into a little bit of a shift, just because like we did still stick to some theming and things like that, but it was trickier because, we have more different tastes in general in terms of our reading habits and stuff. So it did force us to do some slightly different things.
Which turns out wasn't a bad thing.
I guess not, since the episodes did not too bad. So the second one that ranked towards the top was actually because he and I did an episode back, I think in like June or something, where we were doing predictions for It Welcome to Derry. It was right after, again, it was timely at that moment because the trailer had dropped recently. And so we watched the trailer and we decided to chat through some of our feelings and predictions for the show, months prior to it airing, obviously. So we did that. I don't, you know what? I'd have to listen back to the full thing. I'm not sure that any of our predictions have been all that accurate so far. I'm watching it at the moment. Like, I've not, obviously the whole series hasn't aired yet, or the whole season hasn't aired yet. I'm watching it at the moment.
Is it good?
It's a really solid show.
Oh yeah.
But also like anybody, I mean, like, there's a lot of, I guess, like violence and things towards children in the movies, like in It, obviously a lot of kids die. Just just be aware they may have cranked some things up in the show.
I was about to say, like, maybe I should watch it. And I'm like,
I don't know. I mean, I think you might like it, but it's definitely like taken it to a new degree. And I'm like, wow, okay, they're not holding back with expanding the universe in which this exists anyway. So that was our second one. Our third one was again an adaptation review. It was back in February of this year when the adaptation of Stephen King's short story The Monkey was released, written and directed, I believe, by Osgood Perkins, who's also having like a moment in general right now, and is, descended from an iconic horror actor. He's the son of Anthony Perkins, who plays Norman Bates in Psycho.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. He's also in Legally Blonde, which is really funny. Osgood Perkins, because he's done some acting. Play? You know the tall, really awkward guy, David, who's in her class? Yeah. That's him.
Funny.
That's him. Anyway. So
side note
was our review of that. We had fun with that one. Arthur loves this movie so much. It's very darkly funny, I will say. Like if you're like kind of in the mood for that, like you'll enjoy it for sure.
Yeah.
And then our fourth one was in March. We actually had a full themed month about villains.
Yes.
And talking about everything to do with villains in general. And our our second or third episode of that month was about what makes a villain iconic.
Yes, I listened to that episode. I mean, I listened to them all, but I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was it was just a really cool discussion. I feel like we got to touch on really interesting aspects of the idea of like villains in literature and like, what makes some better than others, what makes some of them more memorable, that kind of thing. So that was a really cool one. And then our fifth one was actually, again, timely. This is, unsurprisingly, statistics-wise and analytics-wise, right? Like, this is what comes up is what's timely at the time that something has been released. So it was actually the three of us who really just, like, decided... We almost didn't record this episode, so this is actually very funny because we were so irritated.
Oh, was the Fear Street one.
Fear Street Prom Queen review that we did when that dropped on Netflix, because all three of us are really big fans of the original Fear Street films, like the three of them that were released back in, like, 2021. So... when this one was coming out, I think we had high hopes for it. And as the entire world was, we were all extremely disappointed in it. So it was really, I just remember it being funny because it was just the three of us sitting around the table shouting about how terrible it was and how irritated we were for like 40 minutes.
Yes. But it was a fun episode.
It was. Because it was good. When you feel camaraderie with people because you both had the same experience, positive, negative, whatever it might be. Fair. I feel like that was what we had with
I agree.
Review. It was so bad.
I agree.
Yeah, and that movie's a piece of shit. Anyway.
You should feel bad.
Yeah, you are bad and you should feel bad. So, okay. Now I think what we can do too is, so that's like sort of, from a listener's perspective, maybe. From our own perspective, I think we can also kind of take a little look back at some of them and maybe chat through either specific episodes that we really just enjoyed or like maybe moments in episodes that we had a good time with just throughout the course of the year, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'll get started. I think the first one that I really enjoyed doing was actually the first one that I did when I came back from my mini mat leave.
This was so fun.
About the book Hangover.
This was such a fun episode.
The three of us, like, me ragging on Arthur, because that's what I do.
That's what both of you do, yes.
Yes. He's the brother I never had.
Yeah.
But yes, so that one was great because we really dove into all things book hangover related.
So yep.
And then what does it mean to come out of a book hangover? And that was great because not only was I able to get back on the podcast, side note, I'm not going to take it personally that 4 of those 5 episodes had
it's just,
Arthur
No,
in them.
I'm telling you, it's the timeliness of it.
Just saying, people, not taking it personally.
I'm telling you, the timeliness of it, I think, dictated that we just happened to hop on to certain things as they were coming out.
Sure, that's what it was. The timeliness. Nothing to do
you're
with
so sad.
Anyway, and that whole episode about the book hangovers kind of stayed with me throughout the rest of the year because I think I talked about it on one of our most recent episodes.
Yeah.
The one where I said that I've had to kind of come out of my regular genre because of like being on mat leave and the big change.
Okay, so no, technically that one's not out yet, but you're going to be you'll have heard it by the time this episode comes out.
Okay,
which is when we're recording now.
I apologize, everyone.
It's okay.
On the last week's episode where I talked about how normally I love a big fantasy genre, I've had to kind of change that up because of, life circumstances. This hangover episode kind of I kept going back to it all year, thinking about it, being like, I'm like in book hangover mode all the time now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think my first one, I was trying to do them like a little bit in chronological order. So technically this first one was back in February, and this was like, this is one, like, well, this
another
is
one without me.
The one episode on this list.
I'll just leave, okay?
Oh my God. This is one episode on this list that I have. That's it. That was just me and Arthur at the time doing it. Cause that's the next one was the book hangover one. So it was all three of us. It was the first game that he and I played, which was the book guessing game that you and I also did a part 2 of later on, where we would read the first.
I ended up with a whole stack of your books. Oh my God, it was after.
So funny.
Yeah.
That's it. We would read a little passage from the beginning, like maybe the first paragraph or so of a book, and the other person would have to guess what the plot of the novel was based on that. That was just really fun because it wasn't something we'd ever done before on the podcast at all. So it kind of gave, like, I don't know, I guess it got creative juices flowing to a degree, and it was just like fun and different and easy for us to do. So
I did listen to that one as well, and I was like, I want to play that game.
And then we did.
And then I ended up with a whole bunch of books to read.
Yeah, a few that you really liked as well.
I did, yeah. Well, I read The Boyfriend, and then I read Death on the Downline. Yeah. I still have another one that I haven't read. I think
you do. Oh, it's So Thirsty.
That's it. Yeah, I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah. That was a fun one. Yeah, that's it. Okay, do you have others? What
I
others
do,
you have on yours?
What was my other one? Okay, well, I'm not going to talk about the Fear Street Prom Queen. That one was
But it was funny.
That was really funny because we were just mad about it.
So upset about it.
I enjoyed our episode about the book banning, like why it never really works.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great theme that month about banned books because we hadn't done it before, and it was broad enough that we could kind of integrate a lot of different genres.
Yep.
And it opened up a bigger social conversation.
It did, it's true.
And we looked at a lot of like facts and like debunking certain things about banned books. So I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed that theme.
I agree. I really liked that.
Yeah.
The next one that I did have was the Water for Elephants episode, but we've just talked about it, so I will skip that. That's fine. So the next one after that was our quote-unquote review of the Da Vinci Code.
Okay, I had that on my list as well. That was probably my favorite one from the whole year.
Because really, at its core, because we hated it because it's a terrible film, but at its core, it was really just because the review went completely off the rails and became Shireen's ode to National Treasure. So, I mean, if you feel like going to listen to that, it was back in July, but like, you know.
It was pretty funny.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
That entire conversation. I think of maybe like a half hour, we probably spent about 5 minutes actually talking about the plot of the Da Vinci Code or anything to do with it other than to like shit on the casting and the writing and how disjointed and boring it was. Like those were really like the main,
just terrible.
Yeah, those were really the main bits that we like touched on, and then it just became you know what's better than this if you want something historical.
It was
it's National Treasure.
It was so funny. I love National Treasure. It's like my favorite movie.
Yeah, it's very funny.
I have terrible taste in movies though.
We know.
We know.
Everyone who's been here for any amount of time is like, man, Shireen likes really terrible movies.
So bad. Like, I have excellent taste in music, but movies, horrible. Horrible.
Like the trashier, the better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what's your next?
Okay, I've got like 2 that were like back to back, but they're 2 different themes. So I don't want me to do that. Okay, one of them was the one where we talked about, the one where we were talking, and I don't know if it was this one, but the one where we were talking about how movie adaptations before used to be a lot bigger. The casts were much bigger. The marketing was so much bigger, and like and it was like a big thing.
Yes.
Like, you were like, I read this book.
Yes.
You know? And you were like, I am the truth teller of the group.
Yeah.
And it was such a big thing. And now it's like they're spitting out these movie adaptations every other day because there's so many streaming services and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
So we had a whole discussion on that.
I was like, change the landscape of it. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that one.
It was a really cool conversation to have because I guess like I know on a personal level, I guess I hadn't really thought about it actively that much until we decided on it. Yeah. And then all I could do was think about it because I was like, God, it's true. It's so different than it used to be.
Well, because that month we had done Da Vinci Code and Water for Elephants.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And both of them had huge casts.
Yes, and these like very, really wide releases and they were a really big deal when they came out and everything, and there was a ton of marketing for them and stuff. And now half the time things get released, particularly, to your point with streaming services and stuff throughout the year, where you're just kind of like,
that came out?
And I'm not talking like small shit. I'm talking like Disney keeps doing that to me.
Yes.
Like that fucking Tron Ares came out and I was like, they were making another Tron movie. Did not see one trailer for it until the movie came out. And apparently it's hot garbage. I don't care.
Whatever.
But also like, I'm like, see, like that's weird, right? That we don't know that this is happening.
But also like my beef comes with like the book to movie adaptations when I'm like, yo, I read that book.
Yeah, like
how did I not know that there was a movie
that
coming
they were
out?
making a movie out of it? And I'm hoping, I kind of hope that we're getting away from that. We're going on a tangent now. It's fine. Yeah. I guess I kind of hope that we're getting away from that now. Like, like we've talked about, that's it. Like we've already had, so it's like, this is an episode in like December of 2025. We've already got trailers for things in 2026, like Project Hail Mary, which is going to be really big because of the scope, because it's an Andy Weir adaptation, and The Martian was so popular because Ryan Gosling's the main character and is basically one of the only characters in that story because he's by himself with an alien for most of it. Spoilers, sorry. It's in the fucking trailer. That wasn't me. They gave away a lot in the trailer. Arthur refuses to watch it.
Oh, really? I haven't watched it,
because he was like, nope, they're going to ruin the whole thing. And I just want to go see it.
I haven't read it, but I have read The Martian.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually liked it. I liked the writing style.
Apparently Andy Weir's very good with like the scientific aspect of things, like making it accurate while still making it okay for the everyman to read and not be like, oh, I don't understand.
Yes. Ursula Le Guin did not do that.
Yeah, which is what you and I have, say that we regularly have trouble with science fiction, right? Like, especially hard sci-fi.
Well, if it's more sci-fi, if it's more science.
Yeah. Then less fiction, then we're like, meh, I don't know how I feel about that. So we've already got a full trailer for that, which is coming out only in March. We've already got an early teaser for Sunrise on the Reaping, which is coming out in November of 2026.
And I've read that book, but they got the rights to the movie before the book was even published.
I remember that. I was like, wow, that was...
But they're doing that now with a lot of things. Like, they're doing it with the M. Night Shyamalan, Nicholas Sparks movie.
Fuck, I keep forgetting that's happening.
The book.
You did, eh? Okay, well, good. No, but that's really good because I'm going to need you to read it immediately.
That's fine. I will. When is that coming out?
The movie? Yeah. Oh, it is slated for 2026. I don't know if I've seen a confirmed date yet, but I might have to fact check that. I'm not sure.
It is 2026. Though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think with those, those have had really, Sunrise on the Reaping, it's only been a teaser, but it's been a teaser that's going to lead to a ton more.
That's going to be a huge
It's going to be massive. That's it. But that's when those are already two really big ones. Yeah. Let alone, I'm sure, what we're going to see as of the start of the new year as well for some of the other big adaptations.
There's going to be tons of stuff coming out that, again, we're going to be like, WTF, I had no idea they were making the movie.
Exactly, that we're going to get some stuff about as well. You know, we got a teaser for The Devil Wears Prada 2.
That's
Another adaptation.
One.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. I feel like people forget that one a lot, that Devil Wears Prada is actually based on a book.
Well, I said it to you earlier. I'm like, is the Devil Wears Prada a book? And you're like, yes, it is.
It is, actually. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think that was a cool episode because it gave us an opportunity to chat about that. But it almost, now that we're talking about more, I wonder if the tides are changing, like they're turning a little bit with that. Maybe.
It could be.
We'll see.
It might be worth having another revisit of this topic in 2026.
Like this time next year. I wonder how we're going to feel about this. Totally. So maybe we can look at coming back to it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Another discussion that I really liked that we had was our discussion in August about whether or not Colleen Hoover is actually really romance.
I was going to talk about that one. Yeah.
It was such a good chat that we had, and I think we kind of both agreed that we don't feel like it is, and I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with that, and that's totally fine. That's your prerogative. I really don't mind. Like, you should feel the way that you feel about it. If you like it, great. If you don't, also fine. But that was just a really good, that was just a really good conversation to have because it was just something that I was just like, why are we taking PTSD and trauma and being like, romance? Like, it's so weird.
No, it's not.
It's weird. Anyway, so so that was a good one.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that one as well because it was like we needed to get it off our chest and get it out into the world because like I had said to Megan, let's do themes, going back to the themed months, let's do a romance theme because we hadn't done it, and like we tend to do like romantasy or whatever. And it was like, okay. And then I said to her, I'm like, well, I guess we're gonna have to do Colleen Hoover. And then we both sat there going, is that romance?
Is it even romantic? Like, is there anything romantic about this? And then we both kind of were like, no. And then anyway, whatever. It sent us off on a tangent, but it was just like a good conversation to have to maybe air some of the ideas that we have.
I think so. And like, not to kind of go off on a tangent again, but it's interesting because it starts with us with all the drama that happened on set.
Oh, it ends with us, yeah.
Sorry, it ends with us.
It should be. I know it should have been. It's fine. I get it.
Anyway, it ends with us, all the drama that happened on set.
It's still going.
It's still going. And I'm still seeing headlines about it, but was it Regretting You that came out, or is it that's coming out?
Well, Regretting You came out in the fall, right? Way after.
But there's another one coming out.
Well, Verity's coming out next year.
But there's another one coming.
Oh, I forget. There is another one, and I can't remember which one it is, but she's got another one.
Anyway.
That's not out yet.
But it seems like, we can't even remember which one it was because Verity's having a big theatrical release, but the other two weren't that big.
Yeah.
Oddly, because one of them had quite a big cast. And it makes you wonder, like, is there like some like bad juju going on because of all the adaptations?
Well, because of the insanity of It Ends With Us that like post all of that stuff.
Well, I was reading an article the other day where she was basically saying she doesn't even want to tell people that she wrote It Ends With Us anymore because of all the bad press that's been. And I'm like, that sucks.
That does really suck. Now, I'm going to caveat that. I'm ignoring, I'm
whatever.
ignoring
if
everything.
You love her writing or not, whatever.
I'm ignoring all of that. I'm ignoring everything to do like with all the insanity of this because I feel like she's largely out of it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of fucking sucks for a writer that
she did defend Blake Lively.
She did, but also that your first big adaptation.
This is what happened.
It
I'm
sucks.
Like, oh my it really
God.
sucks.
Oh,
it
that sucks.
really sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
It's really shitty. And then just to wrap things up, my last, I guess I can't do this because it's just cheating, but my last thing that I really liked was the entire month of October. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, yeah.
We had a really good October this year.
Everything about all the scaries.
Well, I mean, so we did 10 best horror adaptations of the last 10 years. We did we were talking about YA horror. We talked about folk horror.
That was a cool episode. Yeah, I liked that episode.
Yeah, well, we learned things.
We did.
We did an It rewatch and talked about it again before Welcome to Derry came out.
Yep.
And we talked about like Universal monsters and how particularly the early adaptations all came from novels and stuff like that. We did all of that stuff. So yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
This October was just really fun. It just like we didn't, again, I think it's because we were like horror, but we didn't theme ourselves. Like we didn't pinpoint
No, because we weren't like, we are talking about folk horror this month. Or like we're talking about YA horror.
Exactly.
So we didn't, because we went a little bit too narrow with a lot of our themes, I think.
Yeah, which didn't do us any favors.
It didn't do us any favors.
It didn't.
I'll finish off mine with the Frankenstein adaptation. So the discussion that we had, that movie was fucking fantastic.
It was great.
And we were lucky because we got to see it on the big screen.
We did. I'm really glad for you that you got to.
Because I watched
I got to see it on the big screen twice. That was cool.
I watched it at home after. I'm like, man, this sucks. No, it didn't suck. It was amazing, but it was so good.
It's not the same. I know.
It's just not the same.
I know.
And I just enjoyed the whole experience of going to see it on the big screen, and then like our discussion about the monster and how the adaptations have never really been done that way before for Frankenstein. And I will shoehorn in Wicked for Good.
I do think we had a really good... But see, again, this was part of what we were just talking about at the top of the episode, finding timely things to talk about.
Yes.
This made me happy to do, even though we didn't enjoy the film. You can go back and listen to the episode. We weren't big fans of it. But I guess it just made me happy to feel like we were part of the conversation
Everything
that was
going
happening.
on.
And we were also getting to see it right away and form our opinions about it ourselves as well. Not like weeks later, months later, but actually seeing it.
Yes, because oftentimes your opinion can be swayed by
public opinion. Yeah, of course.
And I think these two, Frankenstein and Wicked for Good, it actually goes back to the tangent that we just had about how movie adaptations used to have huge releases and now they're getting smaller again. But I think they're getting bigger again.
These were huge.
These were massive. And you could argue that one of them was Universal Pictures. The other one was Netflix.
Sure.
But Netflix did a great job. They had the movie released in theaters for a limited run. And they've done a great job at pushing behind the scenes stuff, keeping it front and center, keeping it fresh, showing the actors, showing Guillermo del Toro how he interacted with the actors. I thought they did a great job there because the contrast is what they did with Wicked for Good, which is, hey, let's make merch out of literally everything. I text Megan yesterday. I'm like, there will be entire landfills filled with pink and green stuff in no time.
There probably still are from part one, let alone from this second one now that's blown up even more. Yeah. It's fine. The hype will fade eventually. And when it does, all of that stuff will go right into the bin. But,
Yes.
What can we do?
Quite.
Yeah. I think looking back at this more than anything, I think we've had a good year, but I think that this has been a really weird year for us because you weren't here at the beginning of the year. So
apparently that was a better thing.
Stop it. So the format of things changed to a degree, and then we had to find our own groove again, getting back into things when you did come back. And then also maybe to an extent, doing all of this and having all of this change actually has given us an opportunity to examine things in a different way, to look at things in a different way. So that we can just, remind ourselves that we're doing this because we enjoy it.
Yes.
And we still do. And I don't think we ever completely stopped enjoying it, but there have definitely been a few months where we've just been
this is a slog.
You feel like you've lost any kind of creative energy that you have to have any kind of even remotely interesting conversation.
And I think, I think it was the Dark Academia month that did it for both of us.
Yeah.
Super, super interesting topic.
It is.
Super interesting. But because we created a whole month out of it, I think we both struggled.
We did.
With coming up with interesting dialogue. And what I love about our podcast is we often have good banter. We've got good topics that we talk about. And with it going sometimes, feeling like it was a bit stale and strained. But also what we talked about in one of our episodes where we said that there are books now. They're coming out, and there's so many
new large releases, so many new adaptations.
So much, and so many, and now we are fortunate because we also get sent ARCs.
Oh my God.
So we've got a TBR list that would keep us busy forever and ever.
Yeah, if the world stopped functioning, I think I could I wouldn't run out for at least a few years of stuff to read.
Well, exactly. And so I think now we've been able to kind of take a step back and reassess and say the themes worked to give us structure to kick us off. But I think we're in a place now where we can give ourselves the space to just be hey, let's do an entire episode on the next Empyrean book that's going to come out,
We're kind of just moving past it. We're evolving, we're changing as people, as life changes, as things evolve. And so with that, the podcast evolves with us a little bit.
Exactly.
So things change with us a little bit.
But we'd like to get your thoughts on it.
I mean, listen, if you've really liked the theming and everything, it's not to say that we'll never bring it back or we'll never do anything with it again.
We will definitely have some theme months.
But I mean, of course, it's great to get that feedback. So if you do, have any particular feelings about it, definitely feel free to let us know. But we'll always have things that are timely and stuff going on over on the website as well. Our team of contributors really keep a lot of regular and very timely articles rolling in too, which is great. And they're wonderful, and I'm really grateful that people are even enthusiastic enough to be willing to do this with us in the first place. So that's always something that I'm really grateful for. And as things go, I think I'm going to be keeping up with it a little bit more. So definitely follow along, on our socials and everything at Fully Booked CA. You can kind of find us on pretty much every platform. As we kind of, that's it. Move into the new year. There's already some exciting stuff happening, I think, early in the year that's going to give us like a lot to chat through. And I get the feeling that it's going to be a very different but probably really exciting 2026 for us to navigate both in the bookish world, in our own stuff with the podcast, in the adaptations that we're getting, and all of that stuff. I think we're just going to have a lot to talk about.
Agree.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. I don't think we have anything else to add, do we?
No, I think I'm empty.
Okay. Follow us. Do all the things.
Do all the things.
Yeah.
Love us.
Until next week, guys. Keep on reading.
Thanks, everyone.